Hey ballers, so I've got a box from Reflex. So binding parts, probably. Probably. Let's see what's in here. Okay, so oh, I know what this is. Okay, this is super cool. And I'm glad we kind of have this camera set up like this. So what this is the new version of the Direct Connect system. And they now have a micro adjust system built right in. You may know that I'm extremely proud of micro adjust. Well, I'm not going to brag, but it's my invention. So this is going to be the new horseshoe piece, and it's now made out of aluminum. That's really cool. Okay, so we're going to have a whole bunch of hardware in here. Let's see what we have here. Oh, hey. Okay, and here is that composite version. And I'm not against the composite version, but you see this does not have the micro adjust on it. So, you know, this is great. This would have been amazing a couple years ago. This, with a micro adjust, this is bonkers. I am super this is what I would use in a heartbeat, okay? So let's see what else we have in here. I probably should talk to people at Reflex before I open their boxes on video, but, well, my French isn't very good. They speak English. Okay. And then we have a couple of the toe pieces. And they're the same. Okay, good. So I want to say this about this toe piece. So the traditional toe hoop that we've all used, if you've been using Reflex for years, is that single stainless, we call it a U, it's kind of squarish, but that square U, it's great, it works fine. I think this is much better. On that rare occasion that the nut on the bottom of the stainless piece isn't as tight, and if you're super aware of your equipment, that stainless piece is never going to be a problem because you're going to pay attention to it. But I think some users set up the Reflex, or somebody sets it up for them, and they don't notice over the years as maybe that stainless piece gets a little loose. Well, with this, that's never going to happen because the boot is going to slide right in under that, and it is permanently fixed. Awesome. So I really like this component. So they added this. They sent me 2 of these. I think this is a great part. And there inside, there is this grippy, it's kind of rubberized piece. So when the boot is in there, it does have some grip in there. I love this part. I think this is really, really smart of them. And then, okay. So they also sent me this super shell with the U sole. It's letter U dash sole piece on here. And this is this custom piece that they make for this shell specifically. And so you've seen some older skiers, some old-timey skiers, or honestly probably some of the pros today. Well, they're bondoing on their Reflex plate under their classic shell to make it absolutely more positive. Well, this just eliminates that. So what this is this really helps create a very positive, flat surface for the boot to sit on and makes everything firmer. So I think that's cool. I'm gonna have to ski in this. That's good stuff. All right, so let's put this stuff together. Give me a second. I gotta get a ski. Okay, so I have assembled this, and I want to make it clear what I did. So this is a demonstration installation. If it's from my own ski, I would be measuring everything 3 times, making sure. So I've got two very distinct, very important goals. First goal is safety. I need to make sure that I have enough compression on the boot. What I mean by compression on the boot is when I close the release mechanism, I want the release mechanism to be pushing the boot forward into the toe hoop. Now, I will tell you, or as I've previously done, I've sung the praises of this new front toe cup design, and that does kind of mean that you have more margin of error on the compression, but I still like to know that the release mechanism is pushing the boot forward, forward, forward. Okay. Priority 2 is measurement to the back of the ski. Is your boot in the right place? So if you are a longtime user of the old classic Reflex boots, especially like going back more than 10 years, you used to have to flip the plate upside down, and you had the big screws in the front and the little screws in the back. And the big screws were your gross adjustment. You would move those screws on the bottom. They're big flathead screws, and you'd have to move them backwards and forwards on the plate for kind of a gross movement of the front toe hoop. And then the release mechanism, there were those little screws that were really close together, and that was a fine adjustment. And what you were doing moving those backwards and forwards was trying to fine tune the distance between the release and the toe hoop. Now with the modern Reflex stuff, they've kind of done away with that, because when you get the product out of the box, it's preset. But in this case, because they're giving you micro adjust and you want to be able to move your boot forwards and backwards on your ski to get exactly the right boot placement, now we're kind of back to that old paradigm. So I actually feel pretty good about the way this is set up. I might like a little bit more compression here, and imagine that I wanted to move my boot forward just a tick. I like to think in 1/10 of an inch or eighth tenths. To me, less than 1/10 of an inch, it's kind of hard to feel, but 2/10 of an inch is a lot, right? To me, a tenth, that's my logical increment of boot adjustment. So again, I don't have a tape here, but we're gonna wing this. And I think I can take another 1/10 of an inch of compression. There's no downside to me moving the release mechanism forward and squeezing the boot more. It might take a little elbow grease to get this thing locked in. I will have to reset my spring tension before I go ski on it, because as things squeeze tighter, I might have to take some spring tension out to find my exact setting. I've published those videos ad nauseum. You've seen them. If you're not sure how to set your spring tension, go find them, send me an email, whatever. We'll straighten that out. So to move the release mechanism forward, I do have to loosen these screws up here. You can see that good enough, can't you? Might tilt the camera down a little bit. I'm going to loosen these screws, and then I'm going to loosen on the micro adjust. Now this plate's a little springy, so it does kind of want to, there we go. So I just slid it forward a tiny bit. If this was my ski, I would have the tape measures out and we'd be getting this exact. This is just demonstration. So I slid this forward maybe 1/10, maybe not quite. And of course, as I move the release mechanism forwards and backwards, I'm going to move the heel of the boot now. And that is the distance from the heel of the boot to the back of the ski is that indicator I'm looking for where my foot is on the ski. So I've tightened it. Oh, didn't tighten the front ones. Hang on, the middle ones, I guess. Tighten these down too. Now, when I go to snap this in, it's gonna be a little snug, right? It's gonna be, oh, that's not bad. Actually, I feel good about that. All right, so I have moved my binding like 1/10 of an inch forward. Now, if I were making a gross adjustment, a big move, a different size shell, I would definitely, you'd wanna move this front hoop proportionally. So again, gross adjustment is in the toe hoop, Fine adjustment is in the release with the micro adjust attached. Whatever setting you come to when you're done, I personally believe, I think it's very important for your safety that when you squeeze the release in, it does squeeze the boot. And then this thing's awesome. So, you know, again, it's the U-sole, so look at this. It really kind of sits down in there, and it's very connected. It's very, there's no slop here. So I'm excited about this product. I think this is really good. I'm super proud of my involvement. If I said that like 6 times, yeah, I'm super proud of my involvement in the micro adjust, seeing that happen in the sport. So that is the micro adjust. Now, the other option, and as a huge fan of the micro adjust, I guess I have to show you the other version. Okay, so I put this together again. This is the simpler version. And okay, so I just assembled this all the way and realized that I don't have as much compression as I like. So watch this. If you ever assemble your reflex system and that happens, it's not the system's fault. The system is great. The design is very good, but your 4 holes need to be adjusted. So I'm gonna go forward 1 hole on this, just for demonstration purposes. I'll take it, but not with it. Okay, so I moved the mechanism, the release mechanism forward 1 hole just because we want to make a little bit stronger contact or a little more squeeze. And that's okay. I would release tension this. Actually, you know something? No, this isn't tight enough. I don't like to see that much play. So I would take this back apart again. Okay, so again, I moved the release mechanism forward. In this case, I did all of it because I want there to be enough compression between the release mechanism and the hoop. That's my word, by the way. I don't think that's the official Reflex terminology for it, but I think the release mechanism needs to squeeze the boot, and it's gonna do, see that, I'd stick my foot in there and I would feel awesome. Now, I have not checked the spring tension yet, but that's where I want it. Now, here's the question. I went through all that trouble to get these distances right. What if my boot's not in the right place? It's fine, actually. At this point, I've established the which holes I'm in. There's 6 holes around the front boot. If the whole thing needed to go back, I would unscrew all 6 and take everything and just go back 1 set. Now, that's fine. Remember, with the new micro adjust direct connect, you could go back a tiny bit, and I suppose for safety, you could use it to micro adjust your tension on the boot. I don't think that tension is, I think there's plenty of margin of error in there that, like, if you want to move your heel just a little bit, you're basically just squeezing your boot a little bit harder. That's fine. That's awesome. So I think these are good systems. I think this is great. I have been skiing in some version of Reflex for years. There's some licensed versions out there you're aware of, and there's some other what have you stuff going on. But the old classic Silvretta release is the bomb. So that's it, ballers. That's all I got. I love this Reflex stuff. It works great. I ski in it. You should ski in it. Reflex, Water Skis USA, Reflex USA, Reflex Skis USA, something like that. It'll be below. Thank you, guys.